Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Miss Marcie. So today I am joined by a group of fabulous ladies down here in Miami, Florida.
Hi.
And we are just having breakfast and conversation. We don't really have anything specific that we're talking about. So we just gonna let the conversation flow, let it do what it do, and let it go where it go. Ladies, introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Sherry.
Hey, I'm Saronda.
I'm Shadam.
Rashonda.
Kiana.
Shamil. My name is Cousin because I'm about to get married and my name shall be unpublished just in case something trash comes out of the conversation.
She already said your name.
Right.
Now, what were we just talking about before we started recording?
The fact that y'all are mad that Kanye West isn't dating. Go.
Why? Right. First of all, Kanye West isn't dating. Okay, we're here in Kanye. That's the first reason because I love being here, but Kanye West would come to dating when we're off Miami.
Yeah. I know,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That I really do feel some kind of way.
I don't feel a way about it.
If you're
I was going to be there anyway.
I worry when I try to go, but
Would you have tried to go?
no.
Yeah.
If somebody goes like, y'all really ditching church just to go have church with Kanye West?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's a no-brainer.
God knows my heart. You can turn any song and make it about Jesus.
Okay, let's talk about songs that we can turn to make about Jesus on this. In the cool weather day on
You cannot make back that ass up about Jesus. So we're not doing that.
Okay, let's try. Can we
girl,
make back?
you backsliding. You better bring that.
You better bring that back.
It works.
I'm going to live like you holy. You better bring that thing back.
Okay. I would wholly pack my purse up and two-step right on out there, man.
I think it's nice that they even took the time.
Yeah.
It's so nice, though. Absolutely.
That's what I'm thinking.
I just hope people are appreciative of it because
Yeah.
it's
I hope they
not,
don't act a fool.
But you know people always find something to say.
No, copycat, what happened?
Right.
but did y'all hear about that? When did that happen? That dude
Last night.
they got killed by the police?
Thursday.
In Dayton?
What?
A 29-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got killed by
Who was
police.
that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
The
his
friend
name.
had a gun, right? But the guy who actually got killed didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But they both.
And they had been
ran
following
away.
the car
They
or
both
something
were running.
already.
Yeah.
But people need to understand that slavery is still real.
It is.
And
Slavery is.
the police can do what they want to do to us black people.
For sure.
Whether kill us, do whatever they want to do. And there's no consequences, like, period at all whatsoever. So,
I wish people understand that the system was never designed like everybody's
For
like, oh, we
us.
gotta fix the system. The system was never designed for us. It
Never
wasn't
at all.
designed intended to give us any kind of freedom.
Right.
It's all bullshit. But, but I like our police department.
you would.
Do y'all? I like our police department.
I don't.
I've never
You
had.
know, I'm
They
not going to trip. You know, I'm kind of racist. I'm not even gonna lie, I really am. If I had to have a white person help me, I would literally, I felt some type of way. I like literally don't want them around me. Like, don't touch me, don't talk to me. I kind of get like, ugh.
Because you don't know who you can trust.
It ain't even far as that. It ain't even far as that. I have like this deep down inside from like back in the day and just how they're playing their hand now.
Right.
Like y'all just can't do what y'all want to do and everything be cool, but in our reality they can, and that's messed up. So I'm not. I don't just feel like mingling.
What if you're in the hospital and you say, your nurses are white?
I mean, if you're put in that situation by choice, I don't want to mess with them. But at the same time, I mean, there's also black nurses if you just really want to go all the way that far. Like, all right, I don't want you touching me. I need a black nurse.
Yeah.
If you really want to, you know what I'm saying, act or be like that. But I mean, I don't like it. Because they do. They just feel like they can do whatever, say whatever, and it's cool. And how society is, it is cool. Butter, please.
So the freedom that we do have, or we think we have,
We don't have it.
I was gonna say, do y'all think? I mean, what we can do you think they just gave it? That's where they have us where they want us to be.
We have
Do you
no
guys think we
freedom.
fought this far?
No, I think it's give and take. I think it's they give us a little bit and they snatch it back when they see something happening. I feel like that with affirmative action. I feel like that with any clause about like students going to school, any minority students going to school, because they give and they snatch back. And
I don't think they've ever given.
No, not truly.
And that's what I'm saying.
No, with fidelity, it's truly like it's almost like a false negative. We'll do this to appease the widespread, society. But in reality, it's really gonna be a pushback. There's something to catch-22 to everything. I truly believe that.
Like actually, I think it's even bigger than that. I think a lot of it is it's all made to make us think that it's a some big deep conspiracy behind it. But in reality, at the end of the day, it's all about money. It is. It boils down to money, because I feel what you're saying, and I completely agree to a certain extent. But the reality is, on a very basic level, we're on the same playing field as a lot of white people, even, because it's about who holds the power, and whoever has the money has the power. Who has the money? Now, they're on a very basic level. There are some white people who think that they have power, when in reality, those are the ones who ain't got shit. Yeah. The ones who are racist, the ones who use their power against us, and all that kind of stuff. Those people have been made to believe that society made them believe that they had the power to give them the advantage over us, and that's a generational but to keep them in their pocket. But also at the end of the day, it's about control, and they control us all with money. It's a money. Yeah, it's not black and white. It's green. And that's a generational thought of that wealth, that integrity. You can be from the trailer park, have nothing, but I'm still better, and you're still better. Your children still think they have a one-up, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, I've worked in the social work field with families like that have told me I've had encounters with people, and that's what white privilege is. Like that. Exactly. People don't get that. They think, well, I'm poor, but because you're white, you automatically, some automatically believe that they have a one, and they do have an advantage. They do. They'll have the presumption of innocence. They'll no matter what they do. Exactly.
So this is what I'm saying is to a certain extent, it's still really not about money, because you still have that mindset. I don't care if I live in a trailer.
Have that mindset. People who don't really have money, because the money
But listen to what I'm saying. If I live in a trailer park and I'm poor, then we have a white person that stays in the trailer park and they're poor. They still think they're better than us, and we still have, neither one of us got a pot to piss in or whatever to throw it out of. Right. But at the same time, you still feel privileged, like.
Right. But they think that. But the powers that be know better. They know that as far as they're concerned, ain't none of us shit. Like take Donald Trump, for example. I've had so many people ask me, do you really think he's racist? And I'm like, you know what? I think Donald Trump, more than anything, is greedy. He's greedy and he's entitled. Then everything else comes secondary.
Doesn't matter who he's affecting with being greedy.
He will look at white people who have less than him, not necessarily even poor, who have less than him or less privilege or status than him, as basically the same as a black person. Now the only difference is, because he can't relate to the culture, he has no interactions, no real dealings. He has a like a Neanderthal type of racism. He only knows black people by what he's heard, not by how he's interacted with them. There's some white people who have, like you said, you feel like you're racist because of experiences you've had. I think all black people have that. Like there's that PTSD, you know. But there's some white people who are like that too, because it's been embedded in them after, years and decades and decades of indoctrination. That black people are ignorant, black people are dirty, black people are uneducated, all this stuff. We're gonna do the wrong thing no matter how many chances we get. It's been put in their mind, so they feel like at the end of the day, we're just inherently bad. But that's not his experience. All he knows is from what he's been told. Black people are poor, broke, and can't pull themselves up by their bootstraps. But he can't either. It's just that he comes from that type of lifestyle, full of privilege, full of entitlement and leverage. So he's just like, ha ha ha, I've got this over you. But he feels the same way about the white man that's standing next to you, the Indian man standing next to you, the Asian man standing next to you. He feels like anybody that doesn't hold the cards that he holds, fuck him. That's how he feels about everybody.
But my thing is, by you being the president, how can you just bluntly say fuck you?
Exactly. He should be able to.
That's what I'm saying. Like really, like he bluntly says fuck you people. Period.
Yep. And the sad part about it is he plays on the racists because they're fueling the fire. But them dumbasses don't even know. He don't give a fuck about them either.
He says fuck you.
Yeah. Right. Have anybody seen Dave Chappelle's special where he's like, he went to go vote?
Yellow Spring?
Yes. And he's like, you dumb motherfuckers. Like, Donald Trump don't care about, he's talking about the white people standing in line. Poor white people. He's like, he don't care about y'all. He care about me. Because he's in his tax bracket. He don't give a damn about y'all. He will gladly rub elbows with Dave Chappelle. But he still has that old school racist mentality. If you get out of pocket, you just another nigga. That's why he don't like LeBron James.
Because he spoke out.
Yeah. You can't speak up. It's like, oh, wait. You a nigga. You extra bad.
So it's like, get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Please be a good successful man.
Exactly.
Please be good. Speak this way, talk this way, carry yourself this way if you have this money. And if you don't, then...
And the thing about it
don't even matter if you got the money. So, yeah.
But we've been speaking up for so long, like, it seems like we just get nowhere. Like you said, giving this, I don't know.
Well, I feel like a lot of times with Black people especially, we take the higher road. That goes back to the talented 10th. You want to be the best of the best. To even be equated to them, you have to do it 10 times better, 10 times faster. And I think, when it comes to the rhetoric of civil rights, you have to think about Malcolm X. You have to think about the more militant types, because even though it's militant, they're still giving back. They're still doing. So I think if we were to mix up the protesting, the nonviolence, with the more aggressive thinking, I think we would have made longer and bigger and better strides. But to diminish that viewpoint of the angry Black man, you downplay the benefits of being a more aggressive person.
Right.
And which I feel like even in the 90s, when you look at the Watts riots, you look at what was going on with Rodney King, you see them going through the same, even Sister Souljah, like her whole viewpoint and stance was militant. It was very aggressive. In the long run, what is the outcome? And I think if we were to combine the two today, we could really do some damage, even with like the Black Lives Matter movement. But when you see the militancy, right? You see the people being outwardly aggressive. Okay, half the people that were leading the Black Lives Matter movement are dead. The young men that were in the front, that were holding the signs, they're gone. So it's like, where are the leaders? We can't even keep a leader. You can't keep leaders in these movements.
Random death?
Random deaths. Random. They're all...
Let's go to Dr. Sebi.
Yes.
They're all gone.
And what's his name? The one who was about to make the Nipsey. He was about to make the whole documentary. Like, you have a whole
anybody
man.
that's supporting him, look all the way back to left eye.
You have a whole man.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You have a whole
she
man.
She was a big supporter of Dr. Sebi. And this was way before he became mainstream.
You have a whole man that had a cure for, a Black man who had a cure for AIDS.
Took his ass to court, all that shit.
Cancer, diabetes. And they took him to court. All the doctors that came in could not object to anything that this man was saying.
But then you have people out here like Atkins diet. Eat all the meat you want. You have all these fad diets coming out. But the minute a Black person breaks in the market, has beneficial supplements, helpful remedies
that you can grow.
He's a quack. He's crazy. You don't want to do it. But even look at George Washington Carver. They called him crazy forever. He told us not to eat the soybean. He told us all this shit that today, if we were to look at it, be like, yeah, we shouldn't eat none of that shit. But they got us out here eating like, and then
slavery.
They link him with peanut butter. They link him with peanut butter, but that's not all he did.
Right.
He didn't even create peanut butter. He used the peanut in different ways. He used nuts in different ways. But you look at his history, you look at the dialogue of him, he's gay, he's got this high-pitched voice, he was castrated as a child. I mean, like, there are issues there. But then his history has not just been a peanut butter jar. And
his uniqueness is still his uniqueness, and you can't take that away.
And you can't. And it's like that with a lot of Black people. Like, I know, like, that whole talk of like, should we teach LGBTQ history in schools?
No.
And my whole thing is this: if you're gonna teach it, teach it right. Don't highlight the fact that they're LGBTQ. You can't take away Langston Hughes. You can't take away some of the screenwriters. You can't take away Zora Neale Hurston. You can't take that away from them. Let them be that. But my thing is, like, in this same conversation, because when you look at the civil rights, when you look at the Black Panther, you see women's rights emerge. You see LGBTQ history started. Well, the what is that? Stonewall. You see Stonewall emerge. You see all these different movements at the same time, and at the root of all of that, the aggression, the organization comes from the Black rights movement. It comes from the Black Panther Party. Black women are the forefront, the backbone of the women rights, right? Like the more aggressive women's rights versus just lobbying and policy.
Right.
We are the backbone of that, but we get thrown to the wayside in that history.
Yes.
So that is like my even overall concern. Like I feel like there's an agenda to diminish Black history because before you teach anything else, you need to get this shit right. You have to get it right.
Yes.
Like, and that's my thing. Like even in the school I work at, majority white teachers, I have no beef. As long as you support each other, that has nothing to do with me. My thing is for the Black people that do work there, what are we doing to help push a healthy vision of Black people? Because right now our vision, they got the NBA young boys, you got your Kodak Blacks, and these are not the best examples for these young children. And I just feel like even in the city of Dayton, when you look at it, you can ask people about stuff and they be like, what are you talking about? You're stupid. I mean, like, because a lot of my viewpoints in my friend group, they're like, Shadon, where do you come from? Because you got this personality, but then you come out the woodwork with this. Like, I tried to join the Black Panthers twice. It was a whole thing for me. Like, it was a whole thing. In college, that Trayvon Martin came out, all of that. Mike Brown, I was pissed. I was angry. And you wasn't doing anything to support it.
Wow.
At all.
So when I was in high school, my senior year at Dunbar, I tried to join the NAACP. I went to a meeting down on West 3rd. And not on West 3rd. It was going towards downtown. It was over there.
Germantown?
Was it like 2nd Street or something?
Okay. Yeah. So I go into a meeting. Because at first it was supposed to be like a link to an internship. And I was like, what if I just join? And I get in there and nothing but old heads in there. And you would think that they would welcome me. And
They don't.
Like,
They don't.
They looked at me so crazy, y'all. And because of the way I was raised, I sat up in my chair and held my head up and sat there to the end of that meeting. But I was fighting back tears the entire time because I'm like, I'm a young person. Like, you need people out here who have the energy to immobilize and get the message out. But they did not want me there. You know why? Because they have been worn down and beat down. And they don't want that fresh young blood. They don't want that militant voice. They don't want that somebody saying, what are we going to do? Because thoughts and prayers are great. But we need to actually do something.
Radical. It's too radical.
And it's like, what makes me sad is that the coming generation, there's so much that they don't know because there's a gap between the 70s and the 90s, obviously the 80s, but as far as a generational gap where they just stopped speaking that life into their children and reminding them of who they were and the inheritance that we have. I shared it on Facebook a while back, but last year when Aretha Franklin died, I was in a grocery store and the young man that was checking me out had no idea who Aretha Franklin was. Here's what was worse. He was raised by his grandmother. I have never wanted to fight an old person so bad in my life. I was like, what you mean you don't know who Aretha Franklin is? So I'm like in the checkout at Ross, like, what you want? I was like, you don't know that? He was like, oh yeah. I said, that's Aretha Franklin, baby. And he was like, oh. I was like, so Fantasia, this person, that person. I was like, she started all of that. I said, that gospel sound and mainstream music, Aretha Franklin. I said, okay, so I need you to go home and read. But to connect that's the point. You cannot champion LGBT rights. You cannot champion women's rights. You cannot champion whatever the hell is the thing now. Because I feel like every other day it's a new movement, it's a new thing. But you cannot do any of those people right until, and I'm going to say this, you champion Native rights. And teach African American history. Because there's so many of us who are natives as well. A lot of us. And then there's so many of us who have so much PTSD from slavery. For sure. And it's not being talked about. And it's
generational.
Yeah.
But you can have a whole conversation about Ellis Island. You can do projects on Ellis Island. And that is such a brief time in history. And it's like, you're only talking about what? Maybe an 80-year span where you got 200 and odd plus years that you sitting up here playing around with of Native history. You don't talk about family. You don't talk about diseases. You don't talk about the horrible mass killings that went on. Same thing with the Holocaust. you learn about the Holocaust, only Jewish people. No, people with disabilities were killed. Black people were killed. There were different nationalities that were killed.
Right.
When I went to Europe for that trip, I love war history. That's my whole. I love war history, African American history, because you don't know the dirty details. And to know the dirty details is painful and it hurts, but you need to know them. And when you get over there and you learn about it, they have memorials for Black people, memorials for people with disabilities, memorials for people that were sterilized, gay, lesbians that were sterilized and given these treatments for twins that were separated, one killed, one starved, and one fed, to see what these experiments that they were doing. And so even when you talk about Black history, you have to talk about the fact that we were given skin treatments. They were injecting us with things, injecting people with all types of different chemicals just to try something. But then you look at that, and that is the backbone of modern medicine. You look at that, that is the backbone of NASA. Because the theory is, after the Holocaust was conquered, leaders of the Holocaust spread around the world. These leaders changed their names, went to South America, but some of these leaders and scientists came to America and helped us champion going to the moon. Helped us champion these modern medical issues because they were doing this research, but at what cost? Same thing with the Native Americans. At what cost were you conquering land? At what cost were you getting this profit for the country? So before you fix anything else, you got to fix the infrastructure. You got to fix the economy, because you have a racist economy that is built on the black dollar. Because half of the shit that's out would not be profitable if Black people did not put their money into it. And it makes me mad because, like, this whole Popeyes thing, we don't have to put our money to that shit.
But we made them famous.
Famous though. They got
that white lady in that ad and see if it'll sell.
Got that Aunt Jemima old trucking and driving old bitch. We don't have to do that shit.
I didn't realize they blew it up like that.
And like even with Tyler Perry, like I hate Tyler Perry movies, but you take these film classes, you learn about the African history, every stereotype devised to break down the Black man and woman
put it in your movie.
And Tyler Perry, I understand you giving the black dollar, you want to play Black people, but you have these racist innuendos straight in our face, and we're laughing at ourselves.
And then anybody who doesn't know us up close and personal are learning. Oh, they're validating. Oh, that's how the family works. That is who they are.
That's all it is. And even when I look on Instagram, I see these young kids making fun, doing these like weird faces. I'm like, this is nothing but a minstrel show for free. We have free admission to watch ourselves be fools. For white people to put our videos up. Because when you go to other countries, we are those videos. Like when I was in Europe, they called me Michelle Obama,
and that's who it was.
Michelle.
Right. Because that's the image.
But thank God that it was Michelle when you went.
Because
so different. Before that, it might have been somebody else. It might have been somebody who didn't have class, who didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Who wasn't educated.
You look at these documentaries. You look at some of this, some of the movies and stuff. Documentaries about the history and about the society. They hate niggas. They hate us.
They do.
We are nothing but comic devices. We're nothing to be laughed at. Like even in Asia, in some of the like Asian countries.
Oh my God,
it's so bad. Like I was watching.
Can we talk about the Asian women here that still have those stereotypes right in front of our face?
I was watching something, and it was some like variety show they had. And when I tell you, they had on this natted black face on their face, black paint, red lips, natted afro. But then, like, doing all these dances of the day. And I'm like, this is nothing but to be made fun of.
Wow.
And it hurts me because I see these kids on Triller, on TikTok doing their videos. But do you know that you don't have any privacy on those apps? So your videos are everywhere. Anybody can access your... You can be a laughing stock. Just like I can laugh at a video in another country. But instead, our videos can be used... And anybody's videos can be used to be hurt. But our videos hurt us as a group. And we really don't have the space because even as African Americans, we really don't fit in with Africans. Like and that's that whole thing. Like Liberia, we were supposed to go back to Liberia. That was the Back to Africa movement. They don't want us over there, and we don't want to be over there. It's very tense. It's very thick. And so at this time, it's hard for us to even find our own space in the world.
A lot of Africans are coming over here and seeing the life that we have now, and they're finally starting to understand. Because at first it used to be, Black Americans are lazy, Black Americans are entitled, Black Americans aren't in touch with their history. But they're coming over here and they're starting to find out, oh wait, shit, y'all never learned y'all history.
We don't know.
So we have no identity. Like I hate that ancestry DNA shit. I hate all of that because I'm like, because it only goes as far back as they will allow. The information they have. First of all, they weren't recording a damn thing about us when we came over. There's no real connection as to what they have to use. That's why we have to use specific type of DNA history research type things, because the ones that they have were not set up to really identify who we are. Every single ancestry DNA kit is going to take you back to your slave ancestors. It's not going to take you right back to the line. Yeah. And then that's when
black owned one that does by tribe.
That's the ones we have to do, because that's what lets you know. And then even still, if you pinpoint a tribe, you'll never be able to figure out like what they know. Like somebody was able to trace it all the way back to the something century in Europe where they were descendants of some kind of king or queen or whatever. We'll never have that, you know. And it breaks my heart. Like, okay, so my kids are half Asian. They're half, and then we even have to break that down to them. My husband is Filipino, and we make the joke, even with our kids, that Filipinos are the closest thing to black people in America, because they were invaded by Spain, they were invaded by Japan, they were invaded by Europe. So you have Filipinos who deal with racism, they deal with colorism, they deal with lack of identity. My husband looks Mexican or Hispanic, more Spaniard. Tall, skinny nose, light skin, but straight Asian hair. His siblings look Filipino. They got wide noses, darker skin, rounder faces, because of their bloodline. My last name is Balbalosa because their family's bloodline descends from Spaniards. His mom's family is Bunyi because their bloodline descends from Chinese, Japanese, and Filipinos. And it's so weird to see that all that represented in one family. They'll never truly know exactly what all is going on in their bloodline.
That history,
And that country has been raped of its resources, of its music. It's full of history and music and culture, and like people love their food. They love what Filipinos can do. They're so creative. I'd be like, damn, we were truly meant to be. Like, they screwed us over. Like, there's so much that he and I identify with, because it's like we have the same exact struggle. The way we get together and play cards and play music and laugh and eat, and families just love each other. We help each other out.
Yeah, the families.
They don't want us to know that. They don't want us to know that we have kindred spirits out there. But to keep us down, you isolate. You make them feel small. And you say you have nobody here. So for the longest time, we were fighting a battle against ourselves. That's another thing that kills me.
And we still separate the history too, because what you just said, I didn't know that in Europe that the Holocaust entailed all these things. So if you separate our history, then now we're looking at each other like your struggle's not my struggle. His struggle is mine. But actually it is. We were all in this together.
All of this is mixed together.
Get on one Facebook thread about slavery and see everybody jump in talking about, well, the Irish had to endure this, and Japanese had to endure this, and it's like, why are we fighting amongst ourselves?
Because we're all we're in the same boat.
We all have the same. We all have the same struggle,
but we're not. Because we're still being persecuted. That's the difference.
Because I
gotta.
Speaking of struggles, different struggles. What do y'all think about? I've heard like people from the LGBTQ community say that their struggle is similar to the black man's struggle.
So this is my thing with that, and.
This
is my thing.
So
say that. How dare you? You might have a struggle, but it ain't the same.
I have a controversial opinion because I almost kind of agree.
You was going to say something.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. But the thing is, there's this pedestal of privilege that white LGBTQ have that colors don't.
And so they want to be given this, and they are given neighborhoods and downtowns and businesses because they
are LGBTQ. All of the color LGBTQ, because these are the forerunners of the civil rights movement. These are the people that are the James Baldwins. These are the people who are writing these texts and these literatures, but we're pushed in the background because it didn't look good for the civil rights movement.
Exactly.
And that's where I'm like, okay, we in this shit together. Exactly. Women. Everybody,
and here's
they get special privileges and rights and money and protections that black men
because they can commercialize it.
But how long have black men not gotten it and still don't?
But wait a minute. But here's the thing.
He could be a black man in a suit and you still gonna get profiled and pulled over. You could be an LGBT and you like, give them their space and let's put a rainbow.
But not for black.
No, but you're not gonna do that.
And
for the black
that's why I said I almost agree, because
I don't agree
a gay
at all.
person can hide the fact that they're gay. You
cis-
black all day long. When you wake up, you go to bed.
A cis, white, more socially accepted gay.
Yeah.
Somebody of lighter, yes. But for our trans people, for our people going through changes, for our people who are wanting to change sexes, that's not so true.
And gays have been persecuted since the beginning of time, just like people
so
of
they
color.
were
So it's not something that's new. It's like for Black Americans, it's been since slavery, civil rights. Okay, but we can go all the way back to the Bible. For the LGBT community, before there was an LGBT community, gays and lesbians were persecuted, and people killed me acting like it's something that just happened.
It's not new.
I'm so sorry. There has always been a gay uncle, an auntie that lives with her friend.
I mean, and
there's always been a cousin who wanted to play with dolls with you instead of playing football with the boys. And what pisses me off is the fact that Black people, especially, even though we are supposed to be running this race together, we persecute our own people. We persecute we want to champion our gays as long as they up in the church getting that choir together. Right. But then it's like, but keep that on the low. I don't want to know who you fucking. I don't care who you fucking. Because my walk with God is not your walk with God. Okay, at the end of the day, because guess what? I just got out the bed with my boyfriend.
Right.
Because your booty shake too much when you direct the choir, somebody feel some kind of way. I'm sorry. Let's stop being hypocrites. And it's
not new, because your minstrel show is a white Shakespeare. Let's go to Shakespearean theater. It's just men dressed up as women, but that was okay up until the point where it was fun, profitable for somebody else. Even in the early 1910s. Minstrel shows, vaudeville shows, men, operas, men were women. Yeah. But at the point where, and this is what I truly believe, where it became a profitable thing for people of color, you look at jazz, you look at ragtime, your forerunners of the Harlem Renaissance. You're looking at your gay, your lesbians. You're looking at the people who have these eccentric personalities that don't quite fit in with your cisgendered, strong, we're going to pick ourselves up, move to the Midwest, we're going to get ourselves together. They don't fit in with that because they want to go be artsy. Yeah. And I truly believe that is the point where LGBTQ issues really evolved, where it became a true issue for people. Because how dare you, Black men? You should be down there sharecropping. How the fuck you going up here making a book? Tennessee Williams, who are you? Right. You don't look Black, but you write about Black things. What is your deal? Exactly. And when you get to the whole issue of mixed race, you get to the whole issue of your mulattoes, you get to your issue of your New Orleans districts and all of that. That's where I truly believe we can't control y'all now, because y'all intermingling. We can't. I truly believe that LGBTQ was a device to help control society, because now we don't know what's going on. Y'all going up there doing your wild stuff, you're drinking, you're smoking, you're getting out. Literary text for the gods. I mean, we love it. The classics. But we can't control Black people like this. So we'll just isolate you up there, and we'll come back down here and get you sharecroppers going, and then we'll go to over here. I mean, because and then you look at the economy in the United States at the time, or even throughout history, and we're all just boxed in these places. Either you down south,
and that's how they control us. Right. As long as we feel like we're separated, as long as we feel like we're fighting this battle alone, that's how they keep us under their thumb. So and that's how they get our money.
And then you look at our neighborhoods that totally reflect the time period. They totally reflect white flight. They totally reflect the want and need for more for Black people, because look at these Black centered or concentrated areas. You got your factories, you got your grocery stores, and now it's just nothing. And then that's how I feel about a lot of schools in Dayton. Like, to put out, like, some of the charter schools in Dayton, I feel like there's this white flight. Oh, we're gonna help these Black people because y'all need us. We went to UD and y'all need us. And I tell you what, like, and I can teach at my school, but I've been in schools where I'm just like, you're not down. You have no clue. I don't care what school you taught at.
You're kind of doing more damage.
Don't talk to these kids like that. Because when you talk to somebody like me, you can't really read me.
Right.
Because sometimes I can talk like you, and then sometimes I get down with the kids. You just don't know what you're gonna get out of me sometimes. But even our neighborhoods reflect this whole division of the country, of the rights. Our mindsets reflect the division of the country, the division of the rights. Because if you look at the brains of the civil rights movement, it's all chopped up. You have your women who do the bus sit-ins, who are organizing, but you have these men that go, well, we're strong, let us be the leaders, let us show, let us be the representation for you, and that's not always true.
Yeah.
But then you let the men pick and choose who gets to be the faces. Rosa Parks, light skin, but she wasn't the first one to sit down on the bus. Like, you don't hear about freedom schools when you talk about the civil rights movement. You don't hear about a lot of the stuff that dark-skinned people, women, gays were doing. You have no clue.
Right.
You don't know that people are changing their names out here. Like, one of my idols is Stokely Carmichael. Like, my whole idol, like, everything, my ideologies come straight from him. But you don't know that he changed his name. You don't know that some of the stuff that he was campaigning for had to do with LGBTQ. You never knew. Because in the middle of civil rights, you have this LGBTQ, you have the Black Panther Party, you have these other small radical Muslim groups. But we have to cover all of that up and put it in a group together. And then that's when you get our race, because we're all different. And a lot of these kids, you hear them, oh, I'm light skinned, I'm yellow, I'm this. And I'm like, at the end of the day, what's your birth certificate say?
Exactly.
Right.
And
I think that's sad too, that colorism shit that black folks still have going on. You know, light skin is better.
But in Cuba, they don't have that shit. When we were in Cuba, it's this whole table. Everybody we all different.
But everybody else does have it. Puerto Rico has it.
They had Brazil has it so bad.
The Philippines has it. China has it. India. Oh my
so
God.
Bad. So bad.
Has it bad. And I sat at the table. This is something we've been dealing with recently because now my kids are old enough to understand. And we were at my brother-in-law's in-law's house. It was his aunt and uncle-in-law. She's like, we're talking about politics. I think that it's a bigger issue than just us. It's a bigger issue than just us. And I had to confront an issue with colorism head on. And this is how I feel like this is our path forward. It's a daunting task, but we have to educate people.
Yeah.
We have to check it at the door, but we have to do it out of love and compassion, but assertiveness. Like, you have to have a certain firmness about you that says, I'm serious.
Yes.
But I'm not going to belittle you because I know you don't know any better.
Right.
Like, you're ignorant, but I'm not saying you're ignorant like trying to be funny. Like, you're ignorant. This older Filipino lady, this is the second time she had told my kids, or told me in front of my kids, that my daughter was so pretty because of her fairer skin. My son is sitting right there. Okay, he's obviously got the curlier hair. You know, he's obviously a little browner than his sister. But to any other black person, he's still light skinned. You know, and then he get the light skin jokes from his black friends. You know, he's softer because he's light skinned with good hair. You know. And then the first thing that people see about my daughter, or did before she cut her hair?
Yes.
Oh my God, her hair. You know, but this lady commented on her complexion, and this was like, I can't take this shit no more. I was just like, I said, well, you know, all us brown babies are beautiful.
Right.
And I was like, because I'm sitting there thinking like, bitch, I'm sitting right here. I'm obviously browner than both of my kids.
Right.
Like, and she's like, oh, but she's so pretty. I said, and he's pretty too. I said, and you're pretty too. And I did her face just like this. I said, and you're pretty too. I said, all us brown babies are beautiful.
All right, y'all, we about to get out of here. We can ready to go run around in these Miami streets. We about to go to our bungalow, and we will.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, yeah.